Hey there, and welcome back to the Consulting Game. This is part two of our special series based on my recent live webinar, Reset Your Consulting Career. If you haven't listened to part one yet, I'd hit pause if I were you and go back to that first one because it puts the foundation in place, the groundwork for everything we're going to cover today. In this episode, I will walk you through the full reset framework. This is the exact process I used myself and now with my clients to move from feeling stuck, something's off, swirling and looping in your head about your career, into confident, aligned career moves. And no, it does not mean you need to quit your job or have it all figured out. We'll explore how to reflect on what's not working, how to reconnect with purpose and possibility, and how small experiments can give you the clarity and courage to design a career that actually fits the version of you that you've become. If you've been craving career clarity or just a path that feels more human and aligned to what you need, this one is for you. Let's get started. I want you to know you don't have to quit and you don't have to have it all figured out. You just need a clear process to understand what's not working. And I know this word confidently, probably you're like, how can I confidently create the next step? But I'm going to show you. So this is the reset framework that I want to take you through. Reflect, envision, simplify and select, experiment, take action, self-coach and self-lead to sustain. These are the steps that I have found to work really well. As I've been doing this work over the last few years, nearly 3 years now, this is what's working really well. Now, the last one, self-coach and self-lead to sustain, although I have that at the end, this is a golden thread that runs through the whole thing. I have a simple framework on how to self-coach. I talk about it on my podcast. This is something that I have used for years now. It's incredible. It's a really simple tool. It's based on neuroscience. It's not something I've made up as a consultant or a coach. It's actually psychology. But that one runs through the whole thing. Now, I won't have time to go through that in detail. But if you're interested, there are 2 podcasts on this, and I should have got the numbers of those podcasts, but I don't. It's something around create the results that you want, but that goes through the framework of those at a high level. So reflect, envision, simplify and select, experiment and take action. The ones that we're going to delve into today are reflect, envision and experiment, because I feel these are the ones that are going to serve you the best. It's how we move from indecision, that looping, that swirling, am I going down the right direction, to leading your next chapter, and having some intention around your career rather than just going along with it. That feeling you're just going along with it. But the most important thing about this is, and the difference between me and a lot of the other coaches, mentors, consultants, trainers out there, is that you take action, you experiment, you test and learn with this method. And you don't take any drastic moves like burning down your career, quitting, handing in your notice until you're very confident and you've experimented enough and you've collected enough data that you can move on. Just like I told you from my story, and this is what I do with my clients, right? We experiment and take action to the point where you actually know that this is the right next move. The problem with a lot of solutions out there is that people think that they're just going to get clarity by just talking to someone about it, making notes, journaling, and that's all really important stuff, right? But if you don't move and take action, you're not going to get the clarity that you need because you're not going to have the data. Think about consulting. Think about how we do our work. That data is gold, right? That helps us course correct when we need to. And you can't confidently move forward without checking back in with that data. I'll go through these at a high level, right? But reflecting is all about understanding what's not working and refining what success means to you now. Not when you were 20 and you thought getting to CEO was the answer. What it actually means to you now. So you ask yourself questions like, where am I now? What actually matters to me? What's not working? What does success look like? What does success feel like? That's the reflect piece. And I know from working with clients, they don't want to do this bit. They just want to go to selecting a direction, experimenting and taking action. But I am telling you, this piece is really important. Envision is all about imagining future possibilities. We somehow forget to do that as we get older, right? We become very past focused. When we're younger, we look forward to the future. When you get into your 40s, you become more past focused. When you were in your 20s, you're thinking about your next career move, the next skill you want to build, potentially going traveling, having babies or getting married. It's very future focused. Buying a house, it's always that next step. But as we get older, we become very past focused. So this is a bit of a hard shift for a lot of my clients to start imagining different futures for themselves. We look at purpose, right? Purpose sounds so fluffy, but actually I'll take you through it in a minute. We explore what your desires are and what drives you, right? And what drains you. We ask questions like, what could life and work look like if it felt right again? We reconnect with your values and those future possibilities. Simplify and select. We cut through the noise here, right? Because it's great to have all this blue sky thinking, but we do need to cut through the noise, clarify decisions, choose a direction so that we can start experimenting. At what age are you too old to reset? Oh my God, that's such a good question. You know what my answer is going to be to that. You are never too old to reset. I do have a story on this, but I'll get emotional about it, so I'll come back to it. Okay, where was I? So experimentation is one of the key differences between what I do and what other people do. We're going to fuel this change through momentum. We're going to build I call it a 30, 60, 90-day plan. It's something we used to do when I was in my consulting days, and I still use it. We're going to build that plan. It's going to be low stake tests, and we're going to realign habits, right? But this is all about experimentation, and we're going to learn from the data. We're going to test the ideas in real life. So we turn those experiments and we start to take action. We start to collect that data, understand if it's the right move, course correct it as needed. And then the taking action is where we've experimented enough to know, okay, directionally, this is where I need to go. Because you are never going to get certainty. You're never going to get Negar. Coaching is where you need to go. I am still directionally correct. I am still not 100% if this is a coaching business or a consulting business, as you can see, but I know I'm going in the right direction. And every webinar I do, every workshop I run, every consulting engagement I follow through on, I gather more data and I focus myself and refine my business even further. This is really important. And this is what builds momentum for you, starts to build commitment to your new path. This is where you get that confidence to make the pivot that you need to. Now, for some of you, it's not a pivot. I work with clients who make small adjustments to the jobs that they're doing within their organization. It doesn't have to be a big change. For me, it was, but for some of you, it doesn't need to be. But you know that you're directionally correct and you start to commit to that path. And then I spoke about the self-coach and self-lead. One is so important, right? This is where you learn how to self-coach. You get through any challenge. And I don't say that lightly. If you look at all of my posts from 2022, when I was experimenting, this is what I talk about. I teach people how to self-coach because it had such a big impact on my life. And I've got podcast episodes on it. But there is a tool that you can use that where you can coach yourself through any challenge. You maintain alignment and you lead your career and your life with intention with this tool. So let's go to reflect. The first step in any change, if any of you have done change management or had change management on your programs, the first step in any change is awareness. So this reflection piece is important. And it's the one piece that all my clients want to skip. They're just like, no, let's get to the exciting stuff where I'm creating new paths and I just quit my job. But that's not the right solution. So we reflect. We get really honest about what's no longer working. Until we acknowledge this, we can't change it. And I see a lot of people not doing this work, just going to another job. And a year later, they find themselves in the same position. They're not happy. They're disconnected from their work. They don't have meaning. And the move just meant nothing, right? So you have to acknowledge what's not working so that you can start to change it. Is it fear of doing something new? Is there a reason why you haven't made a change? Is it just overwhelm? Is it anxiety? Is it time? Have you just got way too much? What are the things that are not working? The only option isn't to leave. You don't need to make a decision here. You just need to start telling yourself the truth. Somewhere along the line, we forget to reflect and course correct. And we do this for our clients all the time. Any of you running a transformation program or any sort of program or project know that, what's it called in Agile? It's not reflection. Retrospective. After every sprint, you do a retrospective. And then you take a couple of things and you bring that into the following sprint. So we have to know what's not working. In this phase, we start identifying the areas that will also calm the storm. This is really important. What I found with clients, we need to figure out what's going on right now, what's not working, what's causing all the issues. But I find with a lot of clients, they're in a storm. So then I'm trying to get them to find their purpose and envision a future, and they're just trying to survive. So calming the storm here looks different for every client. For some clients, it's helping them with their time. I have a whole portal of training. They're very short, bite size, very focused on the corporate world and in particular consulting. I've one around time management. It's called Monday Hour One. But for some clients, that's where we need to start, right? We need to just get a hold on their working week so that they can create space to think. For a lot of clients, it's anxiety. Anxiety comes up a lot in consulting. I wasn't alone in that journey. So we identify and return to some sort of calm, okay, before we can create the future. It's really hard to make intelligent, intentional decisions when there's a lot of negativity and emotion there. We then move on to defining success, redefining success. This one is big because most of us are still chasing a version of success we set years ago. Right? We're all chasing the next promotion. And then we're like, hang on a sec. We look up and it's not what we want. Your definition of success has changed, my friend. What if success now isn't about the next title or more money? Maybe it's about flexibility and calm and meaning and purpose. Maybe it looks slightly different. Now, if it's about money and success and the title, that's cool too, right? But you just have to get really clear and really truthful with yourself what that is. You have permission to evolve, and this step helps you own that unapologetically. If making more money is what success is to you now, or if having more flexibility and headspace is what success is to you right now, you have permission to articulate that. So I really want you to, maybe after this call or at the weekend, just have a think about this one. Define what success means to you now. Many of us are still chasing the metrics that no longer fit: title, salary, being fast paced, working really hard. And sometimes that's just not the case anymore. This step isn't about throwing anything away, okay? It's about reconnecting with what really matters to you now and making space so that we can guide it in the next pieces. Now, the next one I want to get into is an envision. Once you've understood what the issues are, redefine success and calm the storm, which is what we did in the first piece, you can begin to envision what's possible, right? You have the headspace, you have the clarity to do that. You reconnect with what the future could look like. Not the perfect 5-year plan. As I said, I did not have the perfect plan. I just wanted to help people and I wanted to be known for something. That's what my 5-year plan looked like. But just some sort of direction. You're reconnecting with possibility. We imagine what your life, career, energy, every day could look like if it was aligned to your new definition of success. You don't need concrete outcomes here. You just need a horizon. It's that visioning piece of a program. First, we look at what's happening at the moment, and then we define the vision. What is that vision? What are we aiming for here? So this is the main piece of this section. But what comes up a lot here is purpose. I know a lot of you might be rolling your eyes going, Negar, that's so fluffy. It's not fluffy. It's so important to identify this for yourself and what you value before you move on. This is a framework I use, and it brings a bit of process and science to it. I have very different beliefs about purpose than other people, but I don't believe that we're all given one purpose. I believe that you can use these 3 circles to find your sweet spot, to find where you light up and where your passions and what you're good at and what the impact you can make. When they all come together, you can create a purpose and go after it. That's what I did. I wasn't given a purpose to coach people. I just decided I want to coach people. I want to take organizations on a journey. I decided what my purpose was. And that's what you can do for yourself. So this comes up a lot. But quickly, what this sweet spot framework is, we identify your strengths, your superpowers. So these are like your talents, your skills, the things that you really excel at. So these are hard skills, but they also include, I hate saying the word soft skills, but the essential skills like listening, dependable, empathy, communication, all of those skills come into this. And then we talk about your passion. What are you passionate about? Now, I'm passionate about cooking, but I don't want to make a living out of it. So you can be passionate about many things, but that's not the impact you want to have in the world. So identifying what all your passions are and then picking out the ones that you want to use to have an impact in your work, in a business, whatever that might be, is really important. And then the desired impacts. I do a lot of this work within organizations. So where we define people's purpose and we connect it to their work. Depending on the client I'm working with, this is desired impacts. What impact do you want to have on the world? What positive impact? What positive change do you want to make? We bring all that together into a purpose. Now, I've gone a little bit deeper into that than I wanted to, but this comes up a lot, so I wanted to mention it. As I said before, it's not always about pivoting your career in a completely different direction, exploring a whole new company or new area, launching a business. There are a lot of career paths in organizations that I explore with my clients, especially if they want to stay, they want to dial up the purpose, they want to keep going where they are, but they want more meaning and purpose and less disconnection to their work. These are actually different career paths that you can have. We all know about this traditional one, but there's lateral moves, strategic reset, expert value creator. Now, I'm not going to go into these, but I just want you to know that within the organization that you're in, there are different paths. I'm going to whiz through this one and we're going to go into experimentation. Now, small steps, big clarity. You get so much clarity from just experimenting. And this is what's key in my reset frameworks. This step is about discovery. It's for everyone who's still unsure and still gathering data. I like all my clients to go through this experiment phase, even if they're 70–80% sure the direction they want to go in. We go through this experiment stage to make sure you're still gathering data, and you need to build that trust that the move that you're going to commit to is safe. It's the one that you want. So this experimentation phase, it's a safe environment, and the moves that you make, the experiments that you make are reversible, right? So you're not setting up a business and going out onto LinkedIn while you still have a job. Think about this. You might set up a coffee chat with someone in a different role to get more information. You might do some courses, you might build skills, you might take on a +1. A lot of you in consulting will be familiar with extra work that we do called +1 that's aligned to where you want to go, right? For me, it was really moving my career into change management, and it was doing my change management practitioner course and then my 3 certifications as well. So for me, that was the experimentation phase. And it was only when I was sure that this was directionally correct that I actually went to HR. And I got approval from HR in 2022 because I knew I was still in Accenture and I didn't want to leave. I got approval to start my business. But then I went into the take action, which is the next step. But I did not do that until I ran enough experiments to be sure that this is what I wanted. You don't need to commit here. You're just experimenting. You're just testing. It's emotionally safe, and you'll get loads more clarity through being curious and testing. This is going to build proof and evidence for you and give you that confidence to move into the take action step. So experimenting helps you test possibilities in a low pressure, low stakes, safe environment. But at some point, you reach a moment, like I did, where experimenting turns into, I'm going to commit. A small, brave commitment to move forward, like asking HR for approval to start my business on the side. Okay? That's the take action step. We're not going to go into that today, but that's where we go to. That's how, when I said you confidently move into the next chapter, that's why you move confidently into that, because you've done the experimentation. If you had tested and proved your next chapter before you took any sort of leap, how would you feel? Like, you'd feel confident. You'd feel like you had evidence. Clarity does not come before movement. It comes because of movement. And I use an analogy of a fog. If there's a fog, it's hard to see in front of you. But as you start driving, you see a little bit more. You see a little bit more. That's what clarity is, right? You have to drive. You have to take action so that the road starts to become clear for you. As I said before, you don't need to quit or have it all figured out. You just need a clear process, like something like reset, to understand what's not working and confidently create the next step. A big mistake that I see a lot of people make is they stay stuck hoping things will just magically get better, that clarity will just show up. Or they quit their job and jump into something without knowing what they actually want. And what happens is a year later, they're in the exact same position. I want to do a really quick exercise because I can see the time is running away with us. But this is really good. Someone did this with me and it just had such a big impact on me. I want you, as cheesy as this sounds, just close your eyes for a moment. I can't see any of you. Just close your eyes for a second and just listen to me. I want you to imagine just 6 weeks from now. Okay, just 6 weeks from now, you've figured out what you want, what success feels like to you. You've started to explore a new area of interest or search for an internal role in an area that you're interested in, or you're doing a course to build a new skill. And you're starting to get excited. You're starting to get excited again about your career and what the next chapter could be. You're feeling hopeful about your career again. Now I want you to imagine just 3 months from now, you've got a clearer picture of where you want to go, and you've built some evidence, you've got some data. And in that moment, you begin to feel that spark of confidence, that hope, that clarity. That's a feeling that you haven't felt in a long time. As you work on your new direction in a bigger way, you think to yourself, this just might be the exact direction I was meant to be on all along. Something feels different as you imagine this. I want you to notice how you feel. I want you to notice how it feels to show up for yourself, how it feels to have a career that you're actually excited about again. This is really happening. You may think to yourself, I haven't been this excited about my career in a long time. Now, I want you to imagine 12 months from now. Not only have you created a career that's meaningful to you, you've done it without sacrificing your success to date, your finances, without burning it all down and just quitting one day. You've finally created a career, the freedom, the impact you've always wanted. In that moment, you ask yourself, how did I get here? How did this happen? And then you realize a year ago today, you made the decision to go all in. A year ago, you bet on yourself. You did not listen to your fear. You listened to that faint voice that said, just give it a try. You bet on yourself and created a new story, one where you could not lose. The only question now, are you committed to becoming this new version of yourself, the decision maker, someone who does not sit on the sidelines anymore? Because if you are, the only thing that's missing now is the how, the strategies, the roadmap to get you there. All you need now are the steps and the guidance to show you how to get started so that you can create a career that you've wanted. Now, open your eyes, right? I love that exercise. Let me see if anything is popping through on the chat. I think you're all still asleep, are you? Oh, I'm glad you like that. Do you see that when you focus on action and movement, rather than having all of the answers, and you have a path, I've given you some of that path, and you start building it, you can create a career that's more enjoyable, meaningful, and aligned to what you want. You just have to be really intentional about it. Now, I'm going to virtually hold your hand. Would you let me virtually hold your hand through the next step so that you can create that career intentionally? I want to help you start creating what you just imagined there. Because that's exactly why I built and created the Reset game plan. And I want to invite you to join me. This is a free 60-minute strategy session with me. And in that strategy session, what I'm going to give you is the next step. Okay. And I only want this for people who are really done spiraling, swirling, and they just they're motivated to figure this out. We're going to look at what's working, what's not. We're going to get clear on your goals, your long-term vision. We're going to identify the real blocks keeping you stuck. And I'll help you with all of this. Now, we're going to do this for 45 minutes to 50 minutes. And then if there is a fit and you're eligible, I will invite you to the Reset program. Now, this Reset program is the full program. It's 6 months. We work together, etc. But not everyone is the right fit for that. It's not right for everyone. So we work together in that 60 minutes and you'll still walk away with that next step. You'll still walk away with a vision of what you want, anything that's keeping you stuck. And then I will ask you, if I feel you're fit, do you want to know about the program? And I'll tell you a little bit more about it. So that's what the game plan session is about. You'll get immense value out of that session. This session is very tailored to you. I'm conscious of time, so I just ran through this bit. I am opening up my diary. I've opened it up for a month. A lot of the slots are actually gone because I have a VIP group that I've opened this to, but I have opened up more sessions. This isn't one of those endless offers. There's 20 places. Once they get booked, I'll close my diary. Okay. If you've been nodding along this whole way, I want you to scan that QR code and apply. And let's build that roadmap together. And if you're fit, I'll tell you about the bigger program. There's no cost to this. It's completely free. And there is a cost, though, to staying stuck. There is a cost to indecision. And sometimes we don't consider that. Please go ahead and book that session in now. Now, is there any questions? I'm going to stay on for a little bit. So, are there any questions coming up? Let me open the chat. Thanks so much, Anonymous. I'm glad you enjoyed that. No problem. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. I'm on my phone, so I can't access it. Don't worry. I'm going to send all this out. Okay. Any other questions? What if I don't know what I want? Can I still apply for the call? Yes. Most of my clients don't actually know what they want. Come to me with the questions, not the answers. Is it ever too late? No. And the reason I get emotional is I've seen people do this at all ages with clients and everything. But the one that gets me emotional is my mum. My mum did this. She's 63 and she's just got another promotion with the HSE, and she's actually at an award ceremony tonight. It's never too late, especially if you're going after your passion. Thank you all so much for being a wonderful audience. And I'll be in touch on email and I'll send the link out. Okay. Get your slots into the diary. Thanks, everyone. Bye. I hope this episode gave you more than just a framework. I hope it gave you permission. Permission to pause, to reflect, to stop waiting for clarity to magically arrive, and instead start building it one small, brave step at a time. If today's episode resonated with you and you know you're ready for support, I'd love to invite you to book a free reset game plan session. It's 60 minutes, one-to-one, where we will look at your current situation, your vision, and map out your next move. The link is in the show notes. Spots are limited. And if you're listening to this now, it's probably for a reason. You don't need to figure this out alone. Thanks for being here. And as always, don't forget, your career isn't a problem to be solved. It's a path that you get to design.